So let's talk about different stages of market research. So let's take for an example that you have been assigned a research question that tell me what is the market size of market A, tell me what are the competitors, and give me the whole market landscape around a particular therapy area or a drug product. Okay, now what do? You have to create a research plan, right? So the first thing that we all do is look up the internet, that what is the information that is available out there. So all the research step, no matter what you find out from the internet, as long as it is available from an internet resource, that the information which is already present, this aspect of the research is called as secondary market research. Okay, so if this is secondary market research, then the obvious question is what is primary market research. So primary market research is the name given to uh, the information collection process which you yourself create. Okay, so this information is not openly available outside. For examples, you create interviews, you invite the key opinion leaders in your industry for interviews and ask them questions and gather information from them directly. So that information is called as is the primary information, first hand information. So that's why we call it as a part of primary research. In the same way, if you conduct online surveys, uh, of course for from these key opinion leaders, and this information is also what you collected from a primary resource, so that comes under a part of primary research. So these are the first two very common steps that always happen when you begin your market research process. So one is the primary research and the second is the secondary research. And always you will look for all the informations which can be sources which can be possible in both these sources, right? And you try to triangulate the information that you are finding in the process. Now once you have this information and also the data from these sources, now you will sit and analyze that. So during that process you will find competitive information as well. So that is required to do competitive intelligence, in which you compare different companies or competing products that are there in the market. You analyze their pros and cons, and what are the gaps in the market. So that all is a part of competitive intelligence. Now once you have this much information, you will have a good understanding of what are the factors that drive the market in the forward direction, which lead to the growth of the market, and what are the factors that limit a market from growing. So those are called as the drivers and limiters of your market. And based on this information, both qualitative and quantitative information that you have collected, you will create models, and these are going to be quantitative models. You can go as nuanced and as detailed as your data supports, as your research supports, but you will create a quantitative framework of the entire market. And by model, what do I mean? So a model is like a simplistic representation of how a particular thing works. So in this case we are talking about your particular market, so you have to outline a map of your market in a way that you could mathematically in a quantitative way represent it. So what do we want to represent? We want to represent how big is your market, right? In terms of the dollar value, or in terms of uh, let's say if you're talking about the patients for a particular drug, then how many patients do we have today in the market who are eligible? Okay, so that gives you a whole universe size of your market. So that's a static picture, that is today. But we don't just want information for today, because we are making decisions for tomorrow, for years later, and that's why we need to create forecasts. So we create predictions based on what data and information sources we have at our disposal today, and that is what is called as forecasting in market research. So we have to create forecasting models. It could be 5 year, 10 year, depending upon how long you are looking to make your decisions. And once you have created all of this in your research, the next step and the obvious step is to present your findings. So if you are working in a pharma or biotech company, you would be presenting to your leadership team. So that's an internal presentation. But if you're working in a consulting firm, then you would be presenting it to your clients. So those are consulting engagements. So these are the different steps that are involved in market research end to end, and each of the steps has its own processes, its own nuances, which we can cover in the upcoming videos in more details. So I hope this gives you a good idea about how market research projects work.